Wanting to be someone else is something that a lot of people experience, even though it's also something that I feel most people don't really like talking about. I think comparisons and insecurities are a very normal part of life that a lot of people experience, or everyone experiences. But in my opinion, one very toxic mindset to be in is when you have this reoccurring thought, I wish I was this person, whether that be one specific person that you see online or in your real life, or maybe even with a lot of people. This thought of wanting to be someone else continuously in your head at some point can really mess with your happiness and your excitement and your joy for life and your creativity, because essentially at some point you just start hating the person that you are, and that's just not a fun state to be in at all. So in today's video, I would like to share how I've been able to really leave this way of thinking in the past. I would say that on this journey, there are 5 stages that I went through. If I would have to explain it in this way, I would like to take you through these 5 stages. And let's start with number 1, which is wanting to change. Even though this state of mind really feels horrible, it feels awful when you spiral in this for too long. I have been there. Even though one is not aware of this in that moment, oftentimes it can also be a very addictive state of mind and a very addictive thought pattern, because essentially it allows you to not take responsibility for your life and for your actions, because you are continuously focusing on other people and away from yourself. And so the first thing that happened to me was this realization of, oh my God, I have spent so much time comparing myself and wanting to be someone else. And all this time I could have spent into myself and into what I was doing. You are always focusing on other people, and then you're not working on yourself, which means your life becomes even worse, and then the comparison becomes even bigger. And at some point I just reached a breaking point, and I was like, this is just really not how I want to think and live. Sometimes things have to become quite uncomfortable and annoying for us to want to change, and that's definitely what happened to me. Then we have the second stage, which is practice. And inner confidence is not something that you just wake up with one day and then you say, okay, cool, now I have it and now I get to keep it. And so it's really just about practicing and taking these little steps, and then the more you practice, the more solid it becomes, because the inner confidence that I have today is really a result of many thousands of small, tiny little moments where I decided I'm going to do this differently this time. There is really not one book that I read or one quote that I read or one thing that I saw that gave me the aha moment. It's just this continuous journey, and you take small steps towards wherever you want to go, and then sometimes you manage and then sometimes you don't, and you fall back, and it's just happening all the time. But at some point, the more you practice, the more these moments where you fall back become less and less, and this confidence just becomes more and more solid. So it's really just about always practicing. Number 3, stopping the thought. As I said previously, I really don't think there is ever a point that you reach where you just become unshakable. At least that is not something that has happened to me. I think in this day and age, with social media and everything always being so loud, we are continuously bombarded with perfect lives of people and perfect versions of people, and even people in real life are wanting to seem more and more perfect. And so other than if you are living somewhere in the mountains or in the forest away from everyone else, especially in our generation, this temptation and this idea to feel shitty about yourself and to compare yourself to someone else, that possibility is very highly always going to be there, either online or in your real life. From my experience, it's really more about when you see that thought coming and growing and wanting to become bigger in your mind, it's a decision to decide in that moment that your happiness and your well-being and you feeling good about yourself in that moment or that day is just more important than letting that thought grow. Doesn't mean that thought is not real, doesn't mean that thought can't be justified in some way, but it's just about saying, I am more important than this thought growing, because I know this thought growing is not going to make me feel good. And so it's just really a decision to stop the thought from getting bigger, because if I would want to now, I can watch enough content for half an hour or stand in front of the mirror and tell myself 30 things I hate about myself and I hate about my life, and I will go in that state of mind again. It's not like you can't go there anymore. I think that's not really the case. It's just about deciding, I don't want to go there. Number 4, accepting yourself. I think a lot of the times we think that to not feel this way anymore and to not have these thoughts anymore, we have to become either like that person or like these people that are making us feel this way, or we have to become better than them. But that's just really not the case, and it doesn't work like that. So for example, you might see this one person online who looks a certain way or dresses a certain way, and you might have this thought, I wish I were them, I wish I would be able to do that and look like that. And the mind kind of thinks, to not have that thought anymore, I now need to start looking like that person and behaving like that person. I had exactly the same thing going on, but I realized at some point that that's just not the way it works. You're not really working on the core issue, you're just trying to fix the outside. And so if the core issue isn't fixed, you will just have endless things and endless people to look up to, and there will always be a new thing you need to live up to. But then once I decided to accept myself and accept my life fully, and that's a whole nother journey, accepting yourself. I might make a video about that in the future because that is really its own story. But once I went down that path, I realized that some of these things that I thought I wanted, or how I thought I wanted to look, or how I thought I wanted to dress, or what I thought I wanted to do, where I thought I wanted to live, once I had accepted myself, those things actually weren't interesting to me anymore. I didn't even want to be that or want to look like that. And so chasing that without accepting myself first would have really been so much unnecessary time spent, because I would have never gotten there, and it would have actually just brought me more and more further away from who I actually am, which you then have to reel back. So it's just an endless thing that doesn't really make any sense. And then we have the last stage, which is working on yourself. Now, after one starts accepting themselves and embracing themselves, or embracing yourself fully, that means your inner world, your outer world, your, I don't know, the good, bad, and the ugly, just all of it. That's when you start feeling where you want to go to move forward. And then it's a different feeling, because you're not doing it to be like that person or to have that or to look more like that person. You're doing it because there is an inner feeling of, I want to get there. And so whatever you start from there, whether that be buying a completely new wardrobe, or going on a fitness journey, or traveling somewhere, or writing a book, or doing absolutely nothing, whatever it is that feels exciting, it will feel fun and light and like you're moving forward, because you're not doing it to be someone other than yourself. All right, those are all of the things that I wanted to share for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed, and I would love to know in the comments down below, what is the number one thing that has helped you to not want to be someone else anymore? I would love to hear everyone else's thoughts and experiences on this topic. And yeah, thank you so much. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe as always, and check out some other videos of mine if you would like to. I will leave them on the screen now. And yeah, thank you so much, and I hope to see you in my next video.